B students and Algebra 1 students. This goes to problem 2 of 5.1. And this is part 2. Part 2, this is 5.1. And we're doing problem 2 on this. And it's finding slope from a graph. This is like beyond, to me, the easiest way of finding slope. It requires no math whatsoever. It just requires you to know your directions, and it requires you to know what slope is. And remember, in the previous video, you learned that slope was rise over run. So again, slope is rise over run. And that is like the biggest thing. If you can remember that slope is rise over run, you're good. So on this graph, we have 2 points. On this graph, we have 2 points. Okay? Again, since slope is rise over run, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go from this point to this point. Okay? Well, how many points did I rise? I rose 1. So I literally have a positive 1 because going up is a positive motion. Anytime I go up, that is a positive motion. But then if you notice, in order to get to this point over here, I had to go back. I had to go backwards 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So since I go backwards is a negative motion, therefore I have a negative 3. So what is my slope? My slope is 1 over negative 3, or negative 1 over 3. Are these the exact same thing? Is negative 1 over 3 the exact same thing as saying 1 over, or negative 1 over 3? Yeah, are these the exact same thing? Is negative 1 over 3 and 1 over negative 3 the exact same thing? Yeah, they are. Okay? It's just the direction of it. So looking over here, it doesn't matter. What this direction means is it does not matter where I go from. So if I start here at this point to here, I actually fell negative 1 places. And I went to the right 3, so that's a positive motion. And I have a positive 3. Same thing. These slopes are the exact same thing. Okay? There's no difference in this. And notice, this is a negative slope. It's going down and to the right. If I look over at this one, again, remember that slope is rise over run. And to me, when it comes to drawing a graph, when it comes to graphing and finding a slope from a graph, I always use, and I call this the triangle method, because literally you just draw the triangle on it. So if I go from this point to this point, well, how many did I rise? I rose how many? I rose 3. How many places did I go to the right? 1. And if I go to the right, remember, if I go to the right on a number line, that is a positive motion. So this is a positive 1. And again, slope is rise over run, so it's 3 over 1. So it's 3 over 1. Therefore, whoops, let me see. Sorry. Therefore, I have 3 over 1. Therefore, it's 3. Because anything divisible by 1 is itself, right? Right. Okay, well, what if I went the other direction? If I went from this point to this point? Well, in this case, I fell. How many did I fall? I fell 3 places. So that is a negative motion. Okay, anytime I fall, that is a negative motion. And then I had to go to the left. Well, going to the left is a what type of motion? Good, it's a negative motion. So it's a negative 1. So we have negative 3 over negative 1. And if I simplify that, negative divided by negative is a positive. So therefore, negative 3 divided by negative 1 is 3. Again, did we come up with the exact same thing? Yeah, we did. We came up with the exact same thing. It does not matter what points you use as your starting point. You're still going to come up with the same thing if you know your directions. Again, if I rise, that's a positive motion. If I fall, that is a negative motion. If I move to the right, that is a positive motion. If I move to the left, that is a negative motion. So I want you to go ahead and try out this one. Go ahead and try out this one. Go ahead and draw this graph on your paper and try it out. So pause the video and try it out. Okay, assuming that you paused the video and you actually worked it out, you can see that what the slope is. If I were to rise, again, I'm going from this point to this point. How many did I rise? I rose 1, 2, 3. Rising is a positive motion. Going to the left is a negative motion. I went to the left 2 spots. So you should have come up with a slope of -3 over -2. Okay, is there another way that I could have done this one too? Could I have gone the other way? Could I have gone from this point to this point? Yeah, I could have. So in that case, how many did I fall? Because I fell how many? 3. Good. And is that a positive motion or a negative motion? That's a negative motion. But I went to the right how many? 2. And that going to the right is a positive motion. Therefore, my slope is going to be -3 over 2. Are these the exact same thing? Yes. Yes, they are. So it does not matter, again, which route you go. You're going to come up with the exact same thing if you remember your directions. So let's look at this one. So pause the video, draw this graph, and look at it. Okay, assuming you had paused this video and have written out this graph, again, you would have realized that slope is rise over run. Slope is rise over run. Okay, so how many did I rise? If I'm going from this point to this point, how many did I rise? I rose 1, 2, 3. So that's a positive 3 because I rose that, right? How did I get from here to here? Good, I went to the right 2. That's a positive 2. So what is my slope? What is my m value? 3 over 2. How many guys did it the other way? Okay, if you did it the other way, that's totally cool too. Only difference is you went from, you fell, so how many did you fall? 3, is that a positive 3 or a negative 3? Negative 3, good. And you went from, you went to the left, how many places? 2, and that's a negative 2. So you would have had m equals -3 over -2. Is this simplified? No, it's not. Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so this is going to be 3 over 2. And that's a really big thing to remember too when you guys are doing these, that you need to make sure that you write these in simplest form or lowest terms when it comes to fractions. I will give you partial credit if it's not, but I really want these in simplest form. I'll not give you full credit unless they're in simplest form. Okay? So, when I have a graph, all I'm going to do is draw a triangle. That's it. That concludes part 2 of your video.